Hey Clashers, I have showcased a lot of different strategies over the last couple of weeks, and all of them are incredibly strong and really reliable for 3 stars. But when you're talking about the best strategy in the entire game, you need the combination of Root Riders and a Royal Champion charge, and if you combine that as well with the Minion Prince, well, you're up for a treat because you have the best strategy in the entire game right now, and that's by a long shot. So I thought I would just show you in a video exactly what you have to take in consideration when attacking. What are the perfect angles, what are you going for, when to use what ability, and everything you need to know. So let's dive into the attacks and I will show you everything. And since so many of you have enjoyed the concept of taking a look at a replay first to really learn the basics to then jump into the live attacks, I would do exactly that. So first off, let's take a look at the base and understand what you have to go for. Overall, we have a ring of defenses around a center like an island type base, which means you need to interrupt the ring with a Royal Champion to really then get the core out. And that's exactly what we're going to do. For this one, you have pretty much the option between this part, this part, this part, or the top left side, because this is where all of those defenses are clumped up, and if you take down those areas, you will create perfect pathing. I will go for the bottom right side. The main reason for this is the fire spitters. Yes, people are like memeing on the fire spitter, but trust me, if you can avoid it, it's way better. Fire spitters can deal a lot of damage, so if you can take that out while with the Royal Champion, making sure that she takes no damage, that is always a nice bonus. Next to it, we can then enter from the far right side, because this means we're avoiding mostly this other fire spitter as well. Instead of coming in from like the left side or something, or we go into the fire spitters. Whenever you have a symmetrical base or like a base where you have multiple options for your Royal Champion charge, always try to take the spitters as like an indicator of where you should go. Another thing which you have just seen from me is that never take the risk of really like losing a lot of hit points on your hero, which means sometimes, because of the changes with the invisibility spell, you might take a lot of damage from some defenses. Like the Town Hall, for example, is shooting really quick, so you need to be perfect with your timings. Sometimes you don't really need to rely on that, because I just used a double invis back to back on that Royal Champion to make sure that she's not losing as many hit points. Because as long as you get the value with the Royal Champion in the first place, you're going to a 3-star anyways. This is how Royal Champion charges work, because they're so busted. Which means I took down the Monolith using back-to-back invisibility spells instead of relying on my Fox, because this could have led to first the Fox dying, or second point my Royal Champion taking unnecessary damage, which is just worth another spell slot instead. As well, you can see why I like to use the Minion Prince. He just perfectly goes into the core a lot of on those ring bases, which the King cannot really provide. As well, on the back end, he's always nice to like really get a lot of value. Something which I don't like personally is just the pants, because I feel like a lot of times he just does not really take damage after his ability. I mean, the Dark Orb is a no-brainer on that hero, which means you're literally using an ability so the defense deal less damage, to then combine it with the pants to take even more. Like, it does not make any sense to combine those two. Instead, spawning the henchman to take even more black mines is just the perfect way to go, and it results in crazy overkills like this. With that being said, I think we should jump into some attacks and see how all of this unfolds in some live attacks and see if I can repeat the performance. Let's take a look. With everything we have learned now, we're trying to attack this base right here. First off, where can we enter with the Royal Champion to take down a lot of value, but at the same time create a certain pathing for our Root Riders? Whenever there's buildings in the village which are non-defensive, this is always like a great starting point. For example, the Hero Hall. This is right here, which means if we take down the bottom side or the left side of this out, which means the Hero Hall is then a nice indicator for where we can enter with the Root Riders. So we're taking down this bottom side, which means if we enter from the left side, then this should be an amazing pathing into the base, into the village. So let's do exactly that. Remember always the invis spells at like 47, 57, and so on. So like right now, to make sure that we keep pushing forward, and then the Royal Champion is turning invisible again on her own with the Fox, and then again with the 37, that's again where we use the next invis. And this is kind of like how we roll through the base. The next important thing as well is do not get too greedy, okay? We're going to take down the fire spitter, but after that, I won't go even further. Yes, we could try to go with like another, I don't know, rotation of the Invis, of the Fox or whatever, even further. But no, that is not needed. The next step now, lure up the Clan Cast a little bit. If there's Ice Golems in there, try to do it. Everything else just does not really matter. But Ice Golems, it's nice to take them out outside of the village. Now we're using a Valkyrie to take down everything here. Let's use that giant arrow, and now we can have the Root Riders and everything enter in here with the Royal Champ together, just like this. Let's make sure the Queen stays alive. Let's just freeze this. Have everything in here, looking good. And have the siege barracks on the outside, wall break them in. And this already looks really, really solid. We can like distract a little bit. Distract over here as well. Rage things up. So we're entering in here. And then the Warden ability whenever you feel like, okay, there's a lot of damage. We need that extra protection. So far, the Warden is just like not really going anywhere. Warden ability right now. We did not cover the Royal Champ, but to be honest, it should not really matter as much. The Minion Prince now is obviously a really nice DPS hero in the core, which gives us nice tankiness. It's already triggering the Red Mine Farm, which is amazing, obviously. Using now the active ability to make sure we have the Dark Orb. I know a lot of people like to use the Metal Pants, but again, like, he does not take any damage after the ability. You're literally using an ability for the defenses to deal a lot of less damage. To then combine it with like an ability which is like making him more tanky, that makes no sense whatsoever. So yeah, him going down in the end is totally fine because we have still the Phoenix on there. We can still rage everything up, by the way, which I should do at this point. We can freeze again, and this base is just gone. Oh, by the way, we can not restart the cleanup because we have all of the Super Barbarians still alive and still ready to deploy. So yep, this base is completely done, completely gone, and that's how you attack those bases. But I will just show you way more examples and how you really can get this strategy to work and make sure that you're non-stop 3-starring. But this already showcased hopefully quite nicely why first off the Minion Prince is so good, and second of all why the combination of Dark Orb and as well the Henchman Puppet is so good. I feel like the Henchman Puppet is so underrated. And yeah, I don't know, it's like it's so crazy good. It's like 200 DPS over the entire attack, and then you have as well like 2 Black Mine tanks. You have the invisibility to make sure that he's not getting targeted anymore. So there is so many good things going in favor of the Henchman Puppet. But let's do more attacks and have some more fun. Those type of bases might be sometimes a bit overwhelming because it's really hard to see any pathing, especially when the person has a lot of decorations in here. But this is something which you kind of have to learn to really make sure that you can see the pathing even with all of the decorations. So for us, for example, something we can for sure do is if you clear out the far left side compartment, we can enter with the Root Riders in from this right from this left side. Let's just do exactly that. Royal Champion first, again Protector with the Invis spell, so everything as usual when you're doing the Royal Champion charge. Okay, this time the Royal Champion goes a little bit left, right, so I had to fix that with another Invis right now to really make sure that she's staying protected, and then in just a couple of seconds she's going to be protected again by the Spirit Fox. So far so good, so we need to make sure that we're turning things invisible again. And as soon as we're getting that scatter, I think we're looking really, really good. I think we can use one more rotation, and then we're just recording that Royal Champion and having all of the value we needed. Now let's make sure that the troops are not getting like distracted to the flank. That's why I'm using some stuff over there. We can use the giant arrow down here to create the pathing, and now the Root Riders in here. And this base at this point should be already gone. There was a Black Mine early, but to be honest, we don't really care about that. It's like whatever, Royal Champion in there as well. Distraction a little bit, and the siege barracks to support, and then we can just rage, and the base, I mean, it has no chance at this point, right? Like, it's just super easy overkill in just a second as soon as we have just deployed everything. The Ice Golems, this is just a really important thing. Make sure that you protect whenever you see something is dropping low. For us, it was the Royal Champion. The Royal Champion struggled a little bit, so we can just use that ability to keep her protected. And then the next step for us is to use the Minion Prince ability as soon as he's pointing into good direction for us, like right now. And this is looking perfect for us. Let's use another rage for the back end then. The Queen is circling the outside, giving us a lot of protection as well. Let's use another skeleton on the back end to make sure this annoying cannon is not too dangerous for us. Let's freeze this part. And we should have, again, so many Super Barbarians. We can just wall break into this back end if we want to and get everything out. The Minion Prince now on the back end is typically always dying, but hey, that's how we have the Phoenix on him to really make sure that he's getting even more value with his crazy DPS. Like I said earlier, it is like 1000 DPS on this hero. And we can swag the rest of the army, to be honest, at this point, but let's just use it so the defender is not feeling too bad. But that's how you can really easily overpower those bases. We have like nearly all heroes still alive, except the Minion Prince, as I said earlier. That's a nice 3-star for us yet again. With just making sure that we have set up this pathing to make sure that the Root Riders have a strict pathing through the base. And I know, that's the word of the day again, the pathing, but that's what it comes down to when attacking with Root Riders. This is all about it when attacking with this strategy. And to finish things off, we actually found one of my bases as well, so I will just show you again how to beat this base. But it has the same principle whenever you're facing one of those ring bases, okay? Whenever you face any of those type of ring bases, you always try to create the pathing into the core. That is just the most important thing. For us, I would just take down this bottom compartment. So like using the Royal Champion early again with the ability, then turning things invisible so she's well protected and takes on all of those key defenses. And with that, she's interrupting the ring with, well, her DPS. Then we just turn her invisible again right now. And then we can recall her. Yes, she could take down more defense on this bottom side, but to be honest, we don't have to do that. So let's just recall her to save some hit points on her overall. Next step, make sure that the troops are not getting distracted to the left or to the right, especially your Valkyries. That's always really important. Let's just use some Barbarians for that, and then we can enter with the Root Riders. Just like this. Everything in here. Looking good. No bad surprises whatsoever so far. Now the Royal Champion in there. Now we have to push everything into the core. That is something we're going to do with our Archer Queen, so let's just use it right here. Having the giant arrow. Now this. We can distract this left side with like some skeletons, and as well some more funneling in here. And something you can always do is to rage up the funnel if you want to. On this one I think we don't really have to, because this is the next nice thing. We can just use an invis to force everything into the core, and with that the core is gone, the base is gone, everything's just done. And this is another reason why you do not try to overuse. Let's just use an invis right here. Overuse the invis in the beginning, because this means you still have invisibility spells back for the back end, which always leaves some nice coverage. So for us, a lot of Black Mines are popping, but hey, 2 of the Black Mines already were triggered by my henchmen, so we don't really care too much. We have troops everywhere, but the biggest thing is always concentrate on your healers, because this is the part which you can really, really support well, and which you should support. So this is for us the left side, because this is where all of the healers are. This bottom side, yes, it will just take down everything, but that's because the Prince is just an insane hero. And again, we have a lot of the super, or actually 2 super barbarians still left. But we can just overpower the rest. I have even swag rights, okay? Who built those bases? They are so bad. Okay, I'm kidding. But really, it's coming down to making sure that you are interrupting the ring and getting the pathing to the core. This is obviously for the Rage Invis Tower bases. It is for only isolated Town Hall bases. It is the same. Sometimes people have the Town Hall within the ring on the outside, and then like a Rage Island in the core with like other key defenses. It's always the same. It's always the same approach. Interrupt the ring somewhere. Get the counter funnel, and if you can't get it quick enough, as I did, I mean, I did the funnel a little bit, but the Tesla were popping and everything, denying really the ability to funnel everything quick enough, and then I just had to use an invis spell to force everything to the core, so it is pretty much always guaranteed that you get those 3 stars. On top of that, with the Minion Prince, you have a really likely chance of the Minion Prince going to the core, and because of this high DPS, he can just finish off the base. But hey, those were the attacks. I hope they were helpful, showing you some more approaches versus different bases. And if you want to copy the army, it's down below. I'm quite happy with the army, and it's just insane. It's just right now completely insane how strong it is. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys back tomorrow with the next Clash video. Until then, see ya and bye-bye.